Welcome to the Pupterra guide for Barker Valley. I absolutely love this trip. It's only 2 hours from San Diego, 2 hours from LA. It would be great for a day trip, or what we do here is an overnight backpacking trip. Overall, it's 7 miles, 3.5 miles in, 3.5 miles out with only a 1,000 foot elevation gain. So I would rate it easy to moderate. The trip to get to the Barker Valley Trailhead is an adventure in and of itself. The first thing you're going to do is likely get on I-15, either north or south, and then you'll exit in Temecula on 79. If you're looking for a place to camp before you actually go to Barker Valley, off of 79, the first campground you're going to pass is Dripping Springs, which is a great place to stay. And if you continue down a little bit further, you're going to get to Oak Grove. I would recommend both of them, and it'll help you get off to an early start the following morning if you have a long drive the night before. You will be on 79 for about 30 miles before you cross that bridge, and immediately afterwards turn right onto Palomar Divide Truck Trail. Four-wheel drive is recommended for this road, but it's really not all that bad. They do occasionally close the gate if inclement weather is coming or we've recently had a lot of rain, so you can always check the Cleveland National Forest website to see if there's any road closures. But once you get up there, the views are beautiful, it's a great drive, and you're well on your way to the trailhead. After reaching the trailhead, pass the kiosk and enter the Barker Valley Spur Trail, which follows an old eroded roadbed. This roadbed will descend gradually and gently over the next 3.3 miles. While the grade and distance are not very challenging, it can be a tough climb out, especially if you return during the middle of the day. If you're here during the cooler months, this shouldn't be a problem, but the trail is open and exposed, and therefore can be very hot and tiring during the warmer months. You'll continue with your gradual descent until you get to a junction that's marked with a post. To the left is the old trail, and to the right is a new trail down to the valley. I didn't know about the new trail, so I went left in this video, and it still gets you there. But there's lots of loose rocks, so watch your step. It's harder on loose rocks going down than it is coming up, and that was probably the most dangerous part of the trip. As you get to the bottom of the trail, you're going to come to a creek bed that may be dried out, may have some water running through it. If you go left up that creek, that's how you get to the waterfalls and some water features, and that's where we went after crossing the creek bed to find our camp spot. But if you were to go straight after that creek, off to the right a little bit, and a whole lot off to the left, that is all Barker Valley, and there's tons of great spots to stay. After turning left, we followed a very faint use trail for maybe a half of a mile before cutting in towards the creek to try to find a spot for the hammock. Got a spot with 2 trees, hung the hammock up, and it was a beautiful location that Irma absolutely loved. If you're looking for peace and quiet and solitude, you're going to get it in Barker Valley. For the duration of this trip, we did not see another person the entire time. Now, I wouldn't rely on it, but I will share that I did get a little bit of cell service in certain spots when I was out there, so that made me feel a little bit better about being alone. When it's time to go back, you come back in the same way you came. That climb is going to be about 1,050 feet, and I would encourage you to leave early because it will get warm. After making your way back up the slope, you can return to your car, and at that time, you can keep going down the trail and get to High Point, or you can turn back the way that you came and go down to Warner Springs. For this hike, you want to make sure that you have enough water. Even though there's a running creek at the bottom, it's not there all year. I had 4 liters for myself and 2 liters for Irma, and with her drinking out of the creek, I probably drank one of her liters as well. So for the gear list, you can bring pretty much whatever you want. It's a relatively short and easy trip. On this trip, I took the hammock because I wanted to be close to the river and it's lightweight, but I brought a bunch of other stuff just to test out the pack and also to make sure that Irma was comfortable. If I had to make any recommendation on the must-haves, it's a great pair of shoes because the rocks going up and going down can be an absolute ankle buster, bug spray, and make sure that you have some kind of netting for your shelter or for your face because the bugs were all over you. So if you're looking for a relatively easy, very secluded overnight trip or even just a day trip, Barker Valley is a place that I know you'll love. Well, we hope that you enjoyed this guide to roughing it in Barker Valley. Please be sure to check out our other guides and let us know what you think.